welcome to part 2 of a two-part video about making kumquatcello. It's the answer to what to do when life hands you kumquats. And the answer, of course, is to clean them up, grind them up, put them in a jar, and top the jar off with high test neutral grain spirits. In this case, we used 151 proof. Well, that happened back in the winter, and there's a link somewhere above to that original video if you're interested on how we prepped those all those kumquats and how we kind of got them ready to go. After they went into the closet to sit, every month or so I went in and I would stir the jar up, kind of break up any floaty pieces in the top, and give it a little sip to see see how the liquor was doing, see if it was tasty or not, and then it was time to let it sit, and we let it sit until just a very few weeks ago right now, and we are about to finish this project up right now, or at least do the next step. I like these cocktail spoons, by the way, to have around. They are wonderful for purposes like this. Well, the next step is to separate the pulp from the liquor. And is it absolutely necessary? No, it's not. You can go ahead and have a cloudy beverage. Have a beverage that has a lot of little pieces of kumquat pulp in the final beverage, but I like to take most of it out because I end up reusing the leftover pulp for other purposes. Now we're going to start by taking as much of this this stuff as we can out of here. I'm taking the stuff off the top to start with. It still has quite a bit of pulp in it. You might be able to see coming through. And as we go further down in the jar, there'll be a lot more pulp. And what we're going to do is go ahead and get this to kind of a level where it's where there's liquid that's below the surface of the strainer we're using. We're using a stainless steel mesh strainer, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and push out, what's left in the strainer. There we go. We'll get most of it out, and then I'll let it sit for a while in another stainless steel bowl. There we go. And that's pretty good. We've gotten most of it out, I think. So we're going to put what's left in another bowl, and you can see there's the pulp that we pulled out. We're going to pull out a lot more pulp before we're done, because this is a gallon, of goodness here. And are we getting it all out? No, because some of it some of the pulp will go ahead and go through. That's okay. That's not a bad thing, because we're going to hit it again several times trying to get all the extra pulp out. We want this to be as clear as possible. We'll take our spoon here, our dipper, and try to get more of it out if we can. Get as much out as we can, because this is good stuff. You don't want to lose a single drop if you can. First of all, there was a lot of work that went into this. Well, that's a lot there. We've gotten a good part of it out into the dump jar. I'm going to go ahead and move this to another jar, and another bowl. We'll put it out of the way for now. Man, the smell in this room is just spectacular. Just really, 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 really good. I think you would enjoy it. I wish we had smell-o-vision, because it's really delicious smelling. And we actually tried a little bit of this a couple nights ago. A friend was over, and I mentioned I was getting ready to bottle this up. The friend whose kumquat trees supplied the fruit for this, and so we just took a little dipper and dipped into the jar and got a couple little shot glasses out, and tried it out. And everybody who tasted it said it was delicious, and that's without adding any kind of sweetener to it or diluting it. Now remember, this started out as 151 proof neutral grain spirits. This is forte, as the Italians would say. It's strong, più forte, molto forte, very strong. And you know, it's something that you should sip. I like to sip at delicious things and actually savor the taste of them and not see them go down the gullet without having a chance to actually appreciate the taste, every little bit of the taste. Now, when I'm done with this, before I leave this project, I will go ahead and take this pulp and put it in a strainer and let it sit for hours just to get those last little few drops out, because I really like this stuff, and most people that I've shared it with have liked it too. Yeah, get most of it out. Get as much as you can out, and then we'll put we're getting close to the end of this bottle, and you know, we did lose a little bit because during the month since we did this last winter until now, we lost a little bit of the content because we were tasting as we went. We every once in a while we'd open it up, stir it up to make sure that that the pulp hadn't all compacted on the bottom of the container, and then so we'd have little sips every now and then. So we lost a little bit from that. And we also, you know, some of it evaporates. This is 151 proof alcohol. It evaporates. It's what the Scots call the angel share of the liquor. You know, the stuff that the angels drink, the evaporation, products of evaporation. So yeah, you lose some, but it's just part of the as is for this project. You just, you know, you lose a little bit. All right, we've gotten most of it out of this bunch, and we're almost done. I'm going to go ahead and, before I go on, I'm going to go ahead and pour this out, because it's kind of getting up to the level of the bottom of the strainer, and that's not good. We want it to, look at that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful liquid. It is so gorgeous. So yeah, Kumquatcello is quite a bit different than limoncello. You don't have to worry about the pith in the soak. We've gotten the pulp out. There's all the pulp from this project here. It's quite a bit. We'll do more with that in just a little bit. But and there's lots of things you can do with this pulp. You know, you could use it for baking, for example. You can make a torta laranja, orange lemon cake. We could stop at this point, but we're going to make it just a little bit less cloudy by using both a nylon filter and a coffee filter. Well, we rinsed out our jar, we rinsed out our strainer. We'll pour a little bit more in from this one. Oops, a little overflow there. You got to be careful. Don't want to lose a bit of this. And I'm just using the funnel as the means for holding up this nylon filter. You can find this filter, I think it actually came with that funnel. You can find them on web shopping sites. I got this one from Amazon probably, as I do a lot of things. And this filter is getting a little bit clogged now. We'll take it out and wash it. Oh, we'll rinse it really quick once this last bit goes through, because that filter is just a little too clogged now. We'll go ahead and clean that out really quick. Rinse it out in the sink. This takes a second, and actually we can put it right like, well, I think we'll put it in the, put it back in the funnel. The funnel holds it a little bit better. Now I'm using stainless steel and nylon for this operation, and glass. I recommend you don't use aluminum. I recommend you don't use a lot of plastic, although there is a plastic rim around this filter. Do as I say, not as I do. There we go. And run it one more time. I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and run this this pulp through the strainer one more time to see if I can get a little bit more of the goodness out of it. and a little bit is coming out, but not much. I mean, this is kind of a press, I guess, if we were fancier, and we could be using some sort of a fruit press for this, but you know, I think we're getting the majority of the goodness out. Yeah, not much is coming out, but a little bit is, and so just because I don't want to waste any. Okay, and so out of that second run, this is how much we got out. So, well worth it. Well, the next step is to give it a final, what I would call a polish filter, although this is really pretty, not really a polish filter. We're going to be using a coffee filter that we've wet a little bit just to get the dust off of it. And we've put it into a mesh strainer to kind of give it some support. And we're going to go ahead and run our infusion through this filter. So this is where math comes in. We're going to just go ahead and keep track of how much liquid we're running through the filter here. This is kind of our final filtering, and then when this is all done, we're going to use simple syrup to go ahead and dilute the thing down a little bit. You could also use just water if you wanted a bitter instead of a cello, and it's a pretty simple dilution. You need to know what percentage of alcohol you have to start with, and what percentage of alcohol you want, what your volume is, and what percentage of alcohol you want to have at the end. It takes a while for all the liquid to get through the filter. You lose a little bit in there, but not very much. Now, you know, this is not an exact science. We're just trying our best to make a tasty beverage, and we don't want it to be too alcoholic. We don't want it to be too sweet. So, and if you don't want to use sugar syrup for this dilution, you can go ahead and use something like erythritol syrup, monk fruit syrup, or something like that to do the same dilution. So it's basically the percentage of alcohol at 151 proof, the percentage of simple syrup at 0 proof, and you want to bring it down to about 80 proof. So it's a pretty simple ratio and proportion type of calculation. Well, at this point we're adding simple syrup, and we've pre-made some simple syrup, and simple syrup is just 1-to-1 sugar and water heated up on the stove. We've measured up for apparently this amount. I decided that about a 1/4 cup was right of simple syrup, and stir it up, and of course give it a little taste. Not bad. Of all the different liqueurs and infusions that I make, bitters that I make, this is the one that's proven most popular with my friends and family. Well, the last step before consuming is to bottle them. I like using these Boston bottles. You can find them at container stores. There's a great container store down the road from me, a couple hours in Jacksonville, Florida. But yeah, I like using them quite a bit. I use different sizes because you know, I like to give little bottles away to friends and family to try, because not everybody likes the taste of Kumquatcello. There are the occasional few that don't, and of course some of the, well, most of the kumquat infusion that I made, I'll just put up in a bottle without any dilution at all, and as the year goes along, I'll figure out, you know, how much I want to dilute as a bitter, how much I want to dilute as a cello, and you know, how much I just want to leave as an infusion, because just a little bit of that in a glass of bubbly water is pretty darn good. Well, there we are, the finished product. That is started out with a gallon jar, about half full with the chopped up kumquats, and about half full with alcohol, and it made what you see here in the picture, including 1/5 of undiluted, and a whole bunch of little bottles of diluted, some with sugar syrup and some with erythritol syrup. It's a hard word for me to say. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you got value out of this, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like, and keep track of what we're doing, because more exciting adventures coming up from the E-Shed. A really nice day in North Florida. I hope that wherever you are, life is good, and look forward to talking to you the next time. Ciao.